All right, another exciting episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder. I think I'm a comedian. I always find it weird to say I'm a comedian because I think it's the audience who's going to decide whether or not I'm a comedian. The audience will either think I'm a comedian or they'll think I'm annoying. It's one of those two. This is part 2 of my podcast where I am walking from North Hollywood to Burbank in an effort to kill 3 birds with one stone. Possibly 4. Number one, bird. Number 1, bird. That's right, the birds is what we're killing. Getting my car serviced in North Hollywood. Number 2, getting my daily exercise by walking from North Hollywood to Burbank. And number 3, recording a podcast while I do it, thus creating content. And now the 4th bird is actually killing myself because this is a 2-hour walk and I'm used to doing, 30 to 45 minute walks. And listen, guys, I was never Mr. Universe to begin with. Really excited if you stuck around to see what happens. Oh, what's that? I got missing cat poster. Missing cat poster. It's a very cute cat with a Hitler mustache. That's the first thing I noticed. That the cat does have a Hitler mustache. I've seen cats like this before. And you know what? You can't blame the cat. There are probably a lot of cats in 1945 with Hitler mustaches going, oh boy. Now I'm going to get a comment from every other cat walking down the street. Hey, you know who else has a mustache? Yeah, Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, okay? Cat with a Hitler mustache. We don't know. The cat's lost. Is it lost? Or right now in Poland is a giant cat army preparing to invade. I don't mean to make fun of cats, Hitler enthusiasts, or Poland. Now here's what's going through my head as I do that. I am now feeling guilty about the cat owner. What if the cat owner is listening to this podcast? Well, I should be practical. There's this cat with a Hitler mustache and he's lost. And I'm currently on, what is it? Hold that thought. Chandler Road and Buena Vista Street. So if you live in North Hollywood or Poland and you're listening to this podcast, and you should come across this cat, then drive to that intersection and there's a bunch of posters that are up. $300 cash reward for this cat. I don't want to give the name and the phone number. I will just tell you to go to that intersection and do your duty. Do your duty. Save that cat. It does have a Hitler mustache, though. It does. I'm not saying the cat hates Jews. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that. It is merely a coincidence that that's what that cat has. I'm not saying that just even in the picture, I feel like the cat's looking at me funny. I'm not saying that. Not what I'm saying at all. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying at all. Now I feel guilty for even making jokes about it when this poor person has lost their cat. And we all know cats are better than people. And the relationships that cats have with people are much stronger than the relationships that people have with other people. So, am I making a joke at the expense of somebody else's pain? No, I'm not. That is not my intent. I am making a joke about the fact that it's weird that the cat kind of looks like Hitler with the mustache. That's the only thing about the cat that's Hitlerish, by the way. I want to make that also clear. The cat has not published a book called Mein Cat. All right. I hate this intersection so much. I pushed the walk button. Why is it not changing? It's this weird intersection where there are two streets that run parallel. Does that make sense? There's Chandler Boulevard and Chandler Boulevard, but they're two different streets. But they run parallel, and each one has both ways of traffic. And if you got to cross the street, you can cross on one side, but not on the other side. And it's very annoying. It is beyond annoying. I don't know why this was designed this way. Actually, that's a brilliant question. Why was this designed? This is very weird design. You never see two streets running this parallel. Did somebody screw up on the measurement? Is that what happened? Was it Chandler? You screwed up, Chandler. You designed the city so that there's two streets that are right next to each other. Your punishment? We're going to name the streets after you so that people know when they're crossing the street, they will utter a curse under their breath, and that curse will be Chandler. Chandler. We want to make that the new curse word in Burbank. People don't say the F word, they say Chandler. You know what? Why don't you go Chandler yourself? Which means make a complete copy of yourself and put yourself next to yourself and confuse people. That's what it means to Chandler yourself. Look it up. Well, now I've killed 5 birds with one stone. I'm going to get 2 podcasts out of this. I hope my phone can handle all the podcasting I'm doing right now. I also do this, as a way to generate material. Because the advantage is there's probably nobody listening. Although watch. I'm using this to come up with material. Nobody's listening. I make it big, and then 5 years later, you did this on a podcast. We have proof right here. This is new material. You generated this 5 years ago while walking. You know what you are? You're a Chandler. That's what you are. Don't you forget it. But my goal is every day my goal is to write 20 jokes. And even if, usually 19 to 20 of those 20 jokes never work. But I do it every day. And my thought, what I wanted to try today, since it's taking forever to get from North Hollywood to Burbank, because I need to remind myself that I am not athletic, is if I try to come up with those 20 jokes right now and talk through it. Because normally I'll do a little walk and then I'll do the podcast and then writing. But today, because this walk is going to be potentially the whole day, I may have to do the writing and the podcasting at the same time while I'm walking. By the way, I don't think I have enough electrolytes for this. I'm feeling a lack of electrolyte. All right, maybe this will be joke number 1, electrolytes. Is that really a thing? Is it? I don't know. I'm sure it is. I just remember the Gatorade commercial. It has electrolytes. You mean sugar? It also has sugar. If it just had electrolytes, you would not want to drink it because it would probably burn through your skin. Or it would probably not be tasty. Gatorade, it has electrolytes. And sugar, so you can be addicted to it, because sugar is as addictive as crack cocaine. Gatorade. Probably not going to be a sponsor of the podcast, based on that treatment right there. All right, massive lawnmower. Massive lawnmower. All right, joke number 2. Joke number 2. How do we really know that the lawnmowers really have to be that loud? What if it's a conspiracy? What if the lawnmowers and the leaf blowers are actually, could be as quiet as a Prius, but they're on because they're a subliminal reminder to all of us that there's huge inequality and how horribly we treat documented and undocumented immigrants in this country. And it's a noise, it's a background noise that complements the psychological background noise of our failures to be better human beings. Well, that's not so much a joke as it is a chilling, that's just the truth. That's all that is. Sometimes I aim for a joke, sometimes I get the truth. Which did remind me of the movie Lawnmower Man. Maybe can we come up with a joke about Lawnmower Man? I think, what was the premise? That the scientist brings in the Lawnmower Man and increases his intelligence, and he becomes evil. He becomes so intelligent, he becomes evil. And I can't remember in the movie if just the fact of having intelligence, as much intelligence as he had, is what made him evil, or if it was something to do with he was always evil. Because I think he was a nice, quiet, shy guy in the beginning. Does higher intelligence beget evil? Well, I don't want to name any names here, but judging from the news footage I've seen of the politicians who strike me as more on the evil side, I'm not getting an intelligence vibe. Hate to say it, but the people who seem to have the high intelligent vibe are the scientists, and intelligence seems to beget compassion and understanding how the world is interconnected, and goodness. And really, the evil seems to come from ignorance and a lack of putting two and two together. That is also not to say, by the way, that good and evil is necessarily linked to intelligence. Oh God, there's a cat walking up to me right now. It's not the Hitler cat. I can tell because the cat seemed to be... Well, frankly, the cat seemed to be protecting its territory. As I was crossing the street, the cat was walking up going, "This is my territory. You stay away." But I'm not telling you that because you're Jewish. I'm not like one of those Hitler cats. I hate all humans equally. It's a cute cat. Are there any cats that are not cute, though? They all have that same level of cuteness. Have you ever run into a cat that's just, I don't know how you... I mean, if the cat is scratching you in that moment, it's probably... it's still cute, even when it's scratching. It's not cute for the person who it's scratching, but if I'm watching it on a YouTube video, I'm like, oh man, that really hurt, but still cute. Still cute. Can you blame him? That's how cute they are. Now that's awfully close to a Christopher Titus joke, so that doesn't count. We got to throw that one away. All right, Lawnmower Man, intelligence. I'm not liking where that's going. It got too dark, too political. I'm not into dark political. Lawnmower Man. The name of the horror movie, Lawnmower Man. If you'd been a spreadsheet guy, you'd be Spreadsheet Man. That'd be the name of the movie. But I don't think you'd go and see it. There's something about Lawnmower Man. It's the man at the end of it. You add man at anything, and then it's either a superhero or a horror movie. And I think the more mundane it is, it's a horror movie. Candyman, Lawnmower Man, Bicycle Man. Yeah, Bicycle Man. I don't think Bicycle Man could be a horror movie. Because there's something about a bicycle that just makes it less scary. You see a police officer on a bike. It's probably not the detective. Probably not the lead detective on the case. Hate to say it. I don't mean to disparage the good boys in blue. Maybe they are the lead detective. It's just... I just have a hard time believing they'd give somebody working homicide an 18-speed bike. It's just hard to see. It's just, that's not the 80s cop. That's not the 80s buddy cop movie I want to see. They got to be driving a Barracuda. That's what the lead detective drives. Come on, we know this. Could that be a joke number 3? Maybe. I feel like now I've got to deliver these 20 jokes to you. That's tough. Are any of these any good? It might have been better when I wasn't calling out that they were jokes, because then at least I felt better, because I'm not promising that they're jokes. I'm just making observations that you may or may not find amusing. But there was never an implicit agreement that these were going to be jokes. All right, let's go to joke number 4, which for this could be the number 4 itself as the topic. My mom said that according to Italians, 4 is a bad luck number. And because she told me that, now I'm neurotic about even doing a joke. I'm neurotic. Every time I get to the 4th joke, when I'm writing the 20 jokes, I get a little nervous. There you go. Because it's the 4th joke. What if this is the one that somehow gets me killed? Am I tempting fate just by even talking about the unluckiness of 4? It almost makes me want, when I'm numbering my jokes as I'm writing them, to do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So still 20 jokes, but we avoid that 4. But then here's where it gets weird with my obsessive compulsive. What about the number 14? It's not 4, but it has 4 in it. What about multiples of 4? What about 8? Is 8 touched with the evil of 4? It makes sense. I mean, if we look at the joke, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. 8's the action of murdering 9. I'm not liking this. I am legitimately feeling nervous talking about how unlucky the number 4 is as I'm walking 2 feet away from cars. And I'm also, this is really creepy. I'm walking by 1401, the address, 1401. Right when I'm talking about 4s, this isn't good. None of this is good. I don't think this walk is ever going to end. This might be a 3-part podcast. Or I'm just that slow. Now, the guy said it would be done by 2. It's almost 10. Wouldn't that suck if he called right now? Yeah, it's done. I could have just waited. But then we wouldn't have had these wonderful moments. Sorry, I have to pause and appreciate an Audi. I love the Audis. I've talked about that on previous podcasts. I will talk about it again. I enjoy the Audi. It brings me memories of my grandparents who drove an Audi. So I have a lot of fond memories of the Audi. All right. Maybe they should make a commercial for Audi. Audi. Did your grandparents drive an Audi? Well, don't you want to? I think I just also like the Audi logo, the 4 circles. I've always been a fan of circles. Starship Enterprise, the ship is... The ship is a circle. The saucer section, if you will. Which I believe is another name for a circle. in case you're struggling. Oh, now I'm beginning to understand. The Chandler Walkway used to be a railroad track, because now I've hit the end of the Chandler bike path, and now I'm walking on an old railroad track, which I feel like I'm in the movie The Stand. Only instead of going to discover a body, I'm podcasting while walking. I'm now walking on old railroad tracks. I'm a little freaked out because I'm like, this is when the train will actually come, or a ghost train, one of the two, or more realistically, I'll trip on the old wood and fall and break my nose. But no. Let's worry about the things that are highly unlikely. Let's worry about those things first. I don't know. There's something sexy to me about walking on a railroad track. Maybe it's the danger. Maybe it's the nostalgia. But I feel like this is the part of the movie. If two people are walking along the railroad tracks, that's the part of the movie where they're like, all right, so what did happen? Are you finally going to tell me what happened? Yes, when I was very young, I went into the locker room at my school. I just finished playing football, and out of the shadows, I saw a cat. It was a cat with a Hitler mustache. Did the cat attack you? No, it didn't. It turned out it was lost, and I saw the poster for it, and I didn't do anything. And I never know if the cat got found again. I could have made $300, but I didn't, and that's why I'm damaged. Oh, I don't know. I thought you'd been, gone through something really bad. I'm now crossing the street, by the way, because there's a homeless tent that I'm avoiding because I'm a terrible person, and I'm trying to ignore the society's problems instead of doing something to help, or at the very least just acknowledge that they're a human being. Feeling incredibly guilty about that. Can that be joke number 5? Is not even a joke, just me saying, hey, why don't you stop commenting about being a terrible person and do something to be a better person? How about you do that? That's what my mother used to say if we passed by somebody who was homeless. She'd say, give him $1. It could be you one day. Thanks, Mom, for giving me confidence in the future. But she's right. It could be me one day. I work at a comedy club in the middle of a pandemic, which is kind of like working at a mountain biking shop in the middle of the Sahara Desert. That actually might be okay. There might be some places in the desert where you can bike. That's a bad metaphor. Joke number 5, I have lost joke number 5. Joke number 5 is in a tailspin. No, that is like opening a Beatles store in a Rolling Stones part of town. I don't even think that's true. I think a lot of people like both. And I got that from listening to Justin Long's podcast where he was asking someone about if they're a Beatles fan or a Rolling Stones fan. Nope, that doesn't work either. Comedy club in a pandemic is like working at a comedy club not in a pandemic. It's incredibly stressful and hard. It's always hard in any arts business. No, that didn't work. We were doing great before the pandemic. Working at a comedy club in a pandemic is like working at a sports bar in the middle of Comic-Con. Now we're on to something. There must be sports bars that are in San Diego. You think during Comic-Con they're like, all right, just switch it to switch it to Star Trek. But the Padres are playing. The hell with the Padres. The nerds have taken over this weekend. Just switch it. Switch it to Babylon, whatever it is. But the Padres, Jensen, the Padres. Later on in the movie, Jensen is walking along with his friend Carlos on the railroad tracks. They're going to investigate a dead body. Carlos says to Jensen, "So where did it go wrong, Jensen?" I turned off the Padres. I turned off the Padres and put on the Star Trek because it was Comic-Con weekend. I have to appeal to the customers. But Joe Johnson, the regular who always came in to watch the Padres, didn't watch the Padres. He went to another bar and he was brutally murdered by a tribble. Not a real tribble, a guy in a tribble suit. That's where it all went wrong. That's where it all went wrong. I'm now walking in traffic to stay 6 feet away from somebody else who is walking along the sidewalk. All right, we're almost halfway through the second podcast of me just walking from North Hollywood to Burbank. I'm the most pathetic human being. This should not be taking this long. And I swear to you, I'm going to get a phone call as soon as I get to the office. Car's ready. I swear to you. Walking by an Army surplus store. They have a bazooka in the window. I believe it's for show. They also have a couple of tanks. Also for show. But I get the feeling they're real tanks. And I also get the feeling if... I don't know why I find this hysterical. There's an Army surplus store and there's tanks next to the store. And next to the tanks, an upholstery store. You go to get your couch reupholstered. Yeah, I'm here to pick up my couch. Yeah, this is an Army surplus store. Yeah, I'm here to pick up my tank. No, we upholster. You have to go next door. You upholster? Yeah. Can you reupholster tanks? Probably. What are you thinking? I have one word for you. Mauve. A mauve tank. I could feel that. And thus did Lansing reupholster his tank mauve. And thus did the tank suddenly become a luxury item. And we entered a new period of warfare in which war was both hell and beautiful. Could any of that count as joke number 6? Can you help me out here? Not only am I walking people, okay, I want you to understand the suffering I'm going through so that you can get content. Not only am I walking, I'm also carrying a laptop. I'm doing 2 things. By the way, I'm walking by an equipment company that has cherry pickers. And I swear to you, this parking lot of cherry pickers is surrounded with an electric fence. I've walked past thousands of fences. This is the first one that I've seen that is electrified. which can only mean that there was a real problem with people stealing cherry pickers. You know, the big cranes that you can, I think they're called cherry pickers. But can I just say, that I could say that they were stealing cherry pickers, or could I say that they were cherry picking cherry pickers? Oh my God, joke number 6, right? None of this will work on a stage. I also just passed by like a junkyard or a used car yard with a big dog that jumped up at me but did not bark. Why are the actual guard dogs quieter and more well-behaved than the people who have dogs at their houses? I think that dog jumped up, looked at me, and said, okay, this is a middle-aged Jewish man holding a bike helmet, not riding a bike, walking while holding a bike helmet and recording the second podcast. I don't think he represents either a physical or even an existential threat to this junkyard. I shall let him go. Can you imagine? You know what I want to see? This walking and podcasting while walking. If Moses and the Jews had podcasting equipment during the 40 years, my God, what amazing content that would be. This is podcast number 2046. I'm your host, Moses. We are day, I don't know, year 15 into, I don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully not 40 years. That'd be horrible. My guest today is my brother Aaron. Aaron, how you doing? Where are we, Moses? Where are we? How much are we there yet, Moses? All right, calm down, Aaron. Calm down. I am now, by the way, recording a podcast while walking over the Magnolia Street Bridge, fighting the sounds of traffic and what I think used to be the LA River. We're almost there. We're reaching the climax of this podcast. This is the equivalent of me climbing Mount Doom to throw the ring in. Now might be a good time to pause for a pretend commercial break. Do you ever find yourself on top of the Magnolia Street Bridge podcasting and your throat is parched? How about having some of this pollinator-friendly water? Pollinator-friendly water is bottled in a plant that has pollinator-friendly gardens. The water itself, horrible. It's just tap water. We'd probably pee in it. But because it's bottled in a garden that's pollinator-friendly, we take care of our bees and wasps who can pollinate the correct flowers and keep our ecosystem going. And not only do we give them the flowers they need, we also treat them like they're kings. That's right. We treat the queen bee like it's a king bee. Because apparently, even though we at the Pollinator Friendly Bottling Company are pro-environment, we are still stuck firmly in the patriarchy. A lot of people have resigned. because of that king-queen comment. We're being sued not only for our patriarchal thoughts, but because we are definitely peeing in the water. So please, buy our product. Pollinator-friendly water. You know, I'm back on the podcast now. I don't know if you'll be able to hear any of this. I should probably drop them as a sponsor. And by the way, I now feel guilty about even mentioning the patriarchy, because what have I done? What have I done to help? What have I done to help the homeless? What have I done to help with the patriarchy? I'm a terrible human being. Joke number 7. Not even a joke. Just me shouting it. Me shouting on Magnolia Boulevard. I'm a terrible human being. All right. We did it. We actually did it. Now the problem is, I've only been podcasting for 36 minutes. I gotta at least get to 50 minutes for my 1-hour podcast. The only solution is I'm gonna have to keep podcasting as I enter the office. There might be people there. This might be awkward. I don't know how I'm gonna get my car back. I can't walk back. I don't think I can ever walk again after this. That was an 80-minute walk. Am I good on exercising for the rest of my life? Am I? Am I good? Should we move on to joke 8? I don't even think we got jokes 1 through 7. I don't even think we got jokes 1 through 7. Why am I repeating myself? Joshua Snyder, he doesn't just create content. He destroys content. Content destroyer. That's more what I am. I'll take the idea of content and I'll turn you off. You listen to one of my podcasts and you will go back to only watching NBC or ABC. You will go back to the traditional 3 networks and never look back. Oh, these crosswalks are taking forever. I'm at a busy intersection of Magnolia and First, to where I work, which is Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. Already noticing that the front door is open. Odd, considering we are closed. Hopefully this is a good thing, and people are there doing maintenance. Hopefully not a bad thing, wherein people are looting the club. We've been closed for a year. I don't know what they would take. Posters showing Christina P. performing on May 20th, 2020 in an alternate reality. That's what's creepy about working in this club and the club being closed as it is. Oh no, I just made the realization. If the office is not unlocked, I don't have my keys, because my keys are with my car. But it looks like the office is unlocked. Oh, very good. I'll pause here for a second. So I'm now completing this podcast at the end of the day, after I've had plenty of time to recover from my 90-minute walk, which I think means that I don't have to exercise now for 10 years, right? That covers it. That covers about 10 years. Right? Am I right? Am I right? I know that I want to go to 50 minutes. I know that I want to do that. And I find myself being a little bit more emotionally available. All right, I'll share something with you. Here's something to share. Here's something personal to share. If you stuck around this long, if you stuck around after essentially 1.5 podcasts documenting me walking, then I think you deserve the good stuff, right? So, I'm bisexual, probably. Yeah, pretty sure I am. I think the time for questioning is over. I think it's pretty clear that I have these feelings, and I think that, but I still have. I've never actually been with a man, but I made this realization. And I have to thank Titans, the show Titans, because this is the first show where there are both male and female characters that I find attractive on the show, which is confusing and horrible in multiple ways. Let's delve into them, shall we? I'm attracted to Beast Boy, which is a problem because his character is underage. I don't think he's underage. I think he's probably in his 20s. But even still, that is very young for somebody who is basically 40. So now I feel gross. I feel like I'm a gross person for admitting that. Very gross. Gross and horrible. And by the way, this is kind of a tangent, but Beast Boy in the comics, first of all, was more of a boy and not in a, not in a sexy way. He was a boy. He was, 12 or something. And he also looked like a feral beast creature. In this show, what did they do? He looks human. The only thing about him that looks distinctly off, frosted green tips on his hair. No other prosthetics, no teeth, no nothing. Now, when he turns into he can turn into a tiger, then he looks like a tiger. And when he's in the middle of changing into the tiger, there's a moment where he looks like, in the transition process, he looks like the Beast Boy from the comics. But every other time, he's just an attractive-looking guy who has frosted tips. That's how you know in these TV shows with teenage heroes, when it's a TV show, that's how you know they have a power. Their hair is a different color. That's the big technique, especially in Titans. Same thing with Starfire. Red hair. She is an alien. I think in the comics, she had peach-colored or different colored skin, and I think dots on her head or something, or maybe even ridges. By the way, the actress who plays Starfire, phenomenal. And the way that they portray this character, that's the best part of the series as far as I'm concerned. I don't take umbrage with that. My complaint, how do we know the character is a superhero? We color their hair. That's how we know. How do we know that they are an alien? We color their hair. It's 2021, but they're still doing these shows like it's 1960 Star Trek. How do we know they're an alien? Togas. My God, they're wearing togas. What kind of strange, exotic alien race is this? Anyway, back to my shameful, embarrassing feelings about the bisexuality. Okay, so attracted to Beast Boy. Again, ashamed to admit it. I shouldn't be attracted. I need to be attracted to people closer to my own age. I feel very ashamed when I'm attracted to anyone who is in their early 20s. It's no longer appropriate. What am I? An upper class Englishman in am I English royalty in the 1700s? About to be married off to a 13-year-old? Is that what's going on? Gross. Stop it, Josh. Stop it. But also attracted to women on the show. I'm attracted to Dove of Hawk and Dove. Attracted to her. And the discovery I made at night after the show, when I was in the middle of the night, is that when I have my private little mental fantasies, it's been with women more than with men. But last night I allowed myself to fantasize about being with a woman and a man at the same time, which is terrifying. First of all, not a very good parking situation where I live, so they're going to have to carpool. Second of all, I don't know. I feel barely comfortable with another person, let alone two. Now it's a crowd. I mean, now it's almost, try to have sex with two other people. Like that's half of all the comedy shows I do. Is that number of people. And at that point, I think I'd rather try to test material on them. I mean, wait a minute. I mean, especially in this day and age. Wait, two people in the same room? Wait a minute. I've got some premises. We'll get to the sex. But first, I've got some... Listen, I got some... I'm trying to work out a new 5 minutes. Listen, let me work out my new 5 minutes, and then I'll give you the 2 minutes I can actually give you. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed to admit that I find Beast Boy attractive in Titans. I'm sure the actor is of age. I would never do anything with anyone underage. I want to make that clear in case this is used against me in a court of law. But then again, why would I be in a court of law and why would it be used against me? They have to be of age. I'm not into underage. I'm not of age. For me, should be what should the bottom be? Bottom's not the right word in this context. I mean, it should be. I don't know. Early 30s is where I should have the cutoff. I shouldn't be with people in their 20s. That's a terrible idea. They have energy and hope, full of life. No, I need to be. I need to look into the other person's eyes and see the beginning of the dream dying. That's the age that's right for me. But yeah, I'm admitting that. Beast Boy and Dove. Me, Beast Boy and Dove. And you know what'll happen? I'm like, wait, I can get both of you in the same room? Listen, I've got this Batman material I want to try out. And I think the two of you especially you'd get the jokes. But I'm finally starting to let myself experience these feelings without judgment. And I feel like that's a positive step forward. I'm not actually doing anything with anyone, so none of this really even counts or matters. But I guess I'm beginning to be at peace with it. I think I do still feel like I do still feel not. I feel wrong and bad. I feel like I'm the outsider. I feel like I'm doing something. I mean, I'm not even really a religious person, but I'm afraid that I'm thinking sinful thoughts. And I don't even know where that's coming from because my parents certainly were not religious people and never said anything remotely like that. But, I'm still afraid to talk about it, too, because there are groups that are not into these kinds of feelings. And I don't feel like I belong anywhere. I mean, I don't feel like I belong in the LGBT community because I haven't actually had sex with someone of the same sex, even though I've had the thoughts. Which is, I've talked about this before, but that's ridiculous for me to say that about myself because it's not like I need to go up to the LGBTQ community with a punch card. I don't need, photographic evidence that I mean what I say and I say what I mean here. I don't quite think it works that way. But I don't feel like I belong anywhere. except on the road walking from North Hollywood to Burbank. That felt right to me. It was so horrible. It felt, that's where I belong. You know what? That's what bisexuality is for me. It's like walking from North Hollywood to Burbank. That's exactly what it is. It's just, I don't know, beautiful and horrible at the same time. What more can I say?